Hi everyone, this is the grant application webinar for the Youth Pollinator Habitat Program. My name is Anna Swerzik. I'm the Special Initiatives Coordinator for Pheasants Forever and Quail Forever. Some of the items covered in this presentation are going to be the program definition, program partners, and the program objectives, the minimum program criteria, grant application process, grant review process, and where to find the additional resources when you are planning and conducting your project. The program will provide small grants up to $500 and training for chapters to engage youth families and local communities in completing the pollinator habitat project. The program has 4 major sponsors that include Bayer Bee Care, Cabela's Outdoor Fund, Monarch Joint Venture, and DuPont Pioneer. The major sponsors are subject to change anytime, so we do encourage you to view our website and view the most updated list. And we do want you to promote these national program sponsors as they're the ones making these grants available to chapters across the country. The program is designed to achieve 2 objectives. The first is to educate youth about the importance of pollinators and pollinator habitat. Second is to create quality foraging and nesting habitat for pollinators and ground nesting birds. Another criteria is you must engage a youth or a community group. Some examples of those are going to be schools, 4-H, FFA, church youth groups, Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, high school shooting teams, or your local garden club. The second criteria in order to apply for funding is you must agree to the Pheasants Forever and Quail Forever habitat standard. Some of these specifications are that the project must be a minimum of a ½ acre in size. If planted in a strip, it must be a minimum of 20 feet wide. 50% of the seed mix must be comprised of wildflowers and forbs. There needs to be 30 to 40 species. That includes grass and forb species. And each seed mix must include 1 species of milkweed to benefit the monarch butterflies. If you decide to order through Pheasants Forever, they will meet this standard. Some example of potential project locations are wildlife management areas, waterfowl production areas, national wildlife refuges, schoolyard habitat projects, county parks, city parks, nature centers, and private property. These are just some of the examples. Another criteria is chapters must agree to provide educational activities the day of an event or provide curriculum to the teacher that you are working with. If you are working with a classroom, curriculum can be downloaded free of cost on our website for teachers to use in their classrooms before the project. There is also activities with instructions to download for the day of your event at the project site. There is some matching funds that is required. In order to apply for funding, chapters must agree to pay for the entire project up front, and then the chapters will be reimbursed half of the cost associated with the project, up to $500, once they send in their final report packet. Here are some examples on how a chapter will be reimbursed through the grant. If your chapter spends a total of $1,000 on the expenses related to the project, your chapter will receive a $500 reimbursement. Example number 2, if your chapter spends a total of $2,000 on expenses related to the project, your chapter will receive a $500 reimbursement. This is because it's half of the expenses up to $500. The third example is if your chapter spends a total of $500 on expenses related to the project, your chapter will receive $250 reimbursement. Another requirement is chapters must place 1 sign on the project site that displays all national program sponsors and local sponsors. The sign you see in the photo can be purchased directly from Pheasants Forever and Quail Forever and be customized with logos and the name of the youth or community group that you are working with. The link to the order form is on our program website, which is on the last page of this webinar. Once you agree to the program guidelines, you can apply for funding. It's a very simple process and you only have to complete a 1-page application and sign an agreement. On the 1-page program application, we need your chapter information with your phone and email, so if we have any questions, we can get a hold of you. Also in the middle is your project location information and if it's on public or private property. Then on the bottom is a project narrative on how you're going to complete your project. The grant agreement goes over all of the program criteria for the grant. We just need the chapter to sign and date and send it in with your application in order to be considered. Once you have completed your application packet and sent it to me, it will be reviewed by the Pheasants Forever and Quill Forever staff to make sure it meets all the minimum guidelines. You'll be notified within 2 weeks of submitting your application on whether you were funded or not. They will be funded on a first-come, first-served basis until all the grant funding is exhausted. That concludes the end of this webinar. For more information, you can contact me if you have any questions, or you can visit our program website at pfqfhabitated.blogspot.com. Thank you.